my dear colleagues and friends. I welcome to the presentation today. The topic is role of CT angiogram in hematopoiesis and melanoma. I would like to say that by the end of this my presentation will consist mainly of the role, meaning that how we diagnose, what are the advantages and what are the pitfalls of diagnosing GI bleed by CT angiogram. And so the GI bleed, we all know that it is potentially very serious condition, and sometimes it poses very technical and diagnostic challenges. It can be acute and chronic, and most of the cases, like 75% of the cases, they just spontaneously they stop bleeding or by medical treatment. But that 20 to 30% of the cases are which we are dealing with and where we come into the line. So that 25% may require interventions, and where radiology or the interventionist or the diagnostic radiologist comes into line. So acute GI bleeding, it presents, they usually come into ER or in inpatients. There are about 10 to 20% of mortality. So as I said, that it can be acute, chronic, or obscure. The three types. Acute meaning that the blood loss is visible either to the patient or to the clinician. The chronic, that is they occur usually due to microscopic hemorrhages in the long term, and the patients usually have a blood test positive. They may present with anemia or may not be. And the obscure bleeding is the bleeding which may be acute or chronic, and the cause is usually unknown. Either by endoscopy or the colonoscopy, they fail to diagnose the cause of bleeding. So again, it is divided into upper GI bleed, mid GI bleed, and the lower GI bleed. Previously, it was divided only into two, that is the upper and lower GI bleed. But now recently, they have added this mid GI bleed because endoscopy in this region, that is from the ampulla olfacta to the terminal ileum, is not approachable that easily. So that poses a clinical importance to them. But radiologically, we can still say that it's upper GI and the lower GI bleed. The upper GI bleed is extending from up to the ligament of Treves at DJ flexure, and the lower GI bleed from terminal ileum to the rectum and anal canal. So usually upper GI bleed, they usually present with hematemesis, melena, or hemophilia. But the lower GI bleed, they usually present with hemoptysia, which meaning fresh PR bleeding. But it is always important to differentiate whether this is upper GI bleed or the lower GI bleed, even in clinical. So hematemesis, as I said, that it is usually the source of bleeding is upper GI, that is above the ligament of Treves at DJ flexure. Melena, it is also a symptom of upper GI bleed, but rarely it can be of lower GI bleed too. And the more the proximal the bleeding site is, the more likely the melena will occur. So hematochezia, again, it is usually represents the lower GI bleed, that is the fresh PR, but in rare cases it may also the bleed may be from the upper GI as well, because sometimes the bleed is so massive that it doesn't give time enough to change the color or to change the bleed into melena. So there might be sometimes the upper GI bleed sign. And when hematochezia does present in upper GI bleed, the patient is usually in a serious condition, hemodynamically unstable, or have a low hemoglobin level. So as we know, the arterial, I'm not going to go in detail of the arterial and the venous supply of the upper and lower GI bleed. Usually upper GI bleed is the bleeding source is the branches of the celiac axis or SMA, and the lower GI bleed is usually the branches of the SMA and IMA. And this is just to recollect the arterial and venous supply of the GIT. And we also have to remember that there may be variations, anatomical variations in the blood supply. So while reporting, we have to be very careful of what artery we are talking about. Etiology, grossly, the upper GI bleeds are due to the erosion or ulcer of the mucosa, which causes this, and there might be various bleeding as well. And apart from that, neoplastic and others has come as well. but in lower GI bleed, the commonest cause are usually the diverticular disease, angiodysplascias, and neoplasms and colitis. So investigations, there are lots of investigations being done. The most commonest and the first line of investigation is obviously endoscopy. In the upper GI bleed as well as in the lower GI bleed till date, endoscopy has played a very important role. But today I'm going to say why CT angiography should be considered in acute GI bleed, whether it is upper GI bleed or lower GI bleed. And I may also emphasize saying that the CT angiography to some extent replaces direct catheter angiography because of its disadvantages. So by the end of this session, I hope I will be able to tell you why CT angiography is important, why CT angiography should be done in cases of GI bleed, when it should be done, and how should it be done, and how do we diagnose the GI bleed by CT angiography. Apart from that, I'll be showing few cases, related cases, and some studies which are correlating with this presentation. So by the end of the study, by the end of the presentation, you might be able to know the advantages of multi-detector CT angiography. Having high speed and good resolution, it can give multi-planar reformatted imaging. Localization in most of the cases of GI bleed. Active GI bleed is possible, and sometimes even the cause of the GI bleed. 3D reconstruction images are possible in CT with the advancement in the CT, and therefore MIP and VR plays a significant role in suspected GI bleed. Bleeding MIP within the range of 0.3 to 0.5 ml can be detected by CT angiography, whereas catheter angiography, catheter-guided angiography detects above 0.5. That is, the blood loss or the rate of bleeding has to be more than 0.5. So this has advantage of detecting a slower rate of blood loss. Apart from that, it is minimally invasive as compared to the catheter-guided angiography, and it also allows the accurate localization of the bleed, whereas catheter angiography might not be able to do that. And it also allows improved interventional and direct surgical treatment. The radiation dose obviously is less in catheter CT angiography compared to the catheter guided angiography. It is invasive, high dose radiation, and it takes prolonged time because exact localization might not be possible. Apart from the endoscopy, we all know the advantages of endoscopy, but here again the radionuclide scan comes into the radiology department. So this also has an important role, especially in cases of intermittent or chronic GI bleeds, because it allows the long examination time, and there are studies which has proven radionuclide scan is more sensitive. It's highly specific and sensitive and a very reliable tool in diagnosing GI bleeds. So we have, everyone knows about the CT angiography protocol. It's the same as CT angiography, it just needs an enhanced CT, not being barium and all those stones within the diverticular and mucosal enhancement, which were false negative cases. So I hope I am able to answer the question why we are doing CT angiography, when to do, that is in the active bleed, and how we diagnose because of the extravasation of the contrast within the lumen, which changes inside. So now the protocol this is from the radiographic RSNA radiography 2013, volume 33. Now the patient with the upper GI bleed, they go for endoscopy, and then if it is negative, we go for the CT angiography. But in lower GI bleed, they directly can be taken into the CT angiography to detect the site of the bleeding. Few studies were there, which also shows the sensitivity and specificity very high, more than 80 to 90%, 95%. The various studies were done, you can see on the internet, and the conventional angiography has proven to be, even if it's negative, when it's negative, even the colonoscopy or the endoscopy has shown to be negative in few of the studies that were done over here. Show bleeding source prospectively 83%. So it's above 80%. So I think CT angiography can be taken into consideration when the bleeding source is not identified by endoscopy, especially in lower GI bleed. It can be directly taken into the CT angiography, which gives a better result. The mean to remember today is the include arterial, portal, and the venous phases in CT angiography. An enhanced scan should be done immediately before the IV contrast, and no oral contrast material is used. Negative, CT angiography does not mean that there is no active bleed. So my thanks to the radiology technologists who have helped me in producing all the images. My thanks to Dr. Jagdeep Singh Shekhawat, who has helped me in providing the images and the cases, and the Department of Gastrology, without whom we wouldn't be able to get the cases. So let's not wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment and make it perfect. Thank you very much.